Hey there, welcome back to another episode of MVP Business, where we showcase leaders who live through their mission, vision, and passion to showcase leaders who live through and drive profits, growth, and loyalty. Today's guest is Melvin Soh. Melvin coaches Asia's top speakers, trainers, marketers, and salespeople to achieve business breakthroughs of higher profits and more free time. He has really coached them into amazing results, and I'm really excited to have Melvin here with us today. So thank you so much for being here.
I'm very excited to be here. It's early in the morning right now, but I said I was going to do this, and I'm very happy to be here with you on your podcast. You do fantastic work, Steph.
Thank you, and thanks for the flexibility of time. So let's start off with that foundation of knowledge about you, Melvin. What is it that brought you to this place of coaching and being kind of at the top of your game already? You have so much further to go, but you're doing such a great job. What brought you here?
Okay, Steph, it's a fantastic question, actually. So my name is Melvin, and actually I run a company called Enlightened Profits. Enlightened Profits here, we work with Asia's top speakers, marketers, and stuff. But it's kind of a funny story. So Steph, I was a little bit of a rebel when I was growing up. I did very well in school, but I often got into trouble, which was very confusing for the discipline master because I was both the most problematic kid, but also the smartest kid. So you can't quite exactly expel the smartest kid. But then I was there, and he was like, all right, cool, this is a bit confusing. Because most of the time, the kids that get in trouble are not doing well in school. And the kids that do well in school don't get in trouble. But I was a little bit of both. So it was like, I both got the best award and also the most problematic award. So it was an interesting time. I was a rebel when I was growing up. And the thing about being a rebel is I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want, which was to follow school rules and all that kind of stuff. So at age 20, we have a compulsory military service here. So after age 20, served 2 years in the military. I left and I said, you know what, I do not want to go to college. Now I take a year of this and I said to myself, I didn't want to do it. Why? I was in a business college and I had a professor who was teaching, and I thought to myself, this professor has never started a business before. Why am I listening to this guy? It's kind of like taking driving from a person that doesn't drive, or swimming from a person that doesn't swim. I thought to myself, this guy has no idea what the hell he's talking about. So I decided to quit. Now, at that point of time, you must understand, Steph, I was also reading a lot of biographies. There are people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Here's what you get. When you read the biography, but don't read it in full. You read it and you seem to mess around in the garage. They tinker around. 6 months later, a year later, they become a millionaire. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit because you know what? All rich people don't go to college. So I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit because, that's the answer. The answer is to quit college and to start my own thing. Unfortunately, Steph, I probably should have finished reading the biography because I'm quite sure there's much more to life than quitting college. So I missed the section about sales, about leadership, about team, about product, about everything. I just quit and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go into business. So I started something with my buddy at that point in time. For the first 3 months, we got warm leads. Every time you start a business, you get friends and family that want to support you. Sometimes they have no idea what you're doing, but they just want support. Because it's kind of cute, you start your own thing. But that runs out pretty quick. After 3 months, you're like, all right, cool, you're done with friends and family. I need to get some real leads, except I have no idea how. I don't know how to advertise. I don't know how to market, and there was the beginning of a lot of struggle. And when people say they struggle, some people say they don't have a job and they struggle for a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year is hard. I struggled for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, close to 8 years. I made $800 a month. I slept on my parents' couch. I started business after business, affiliate marketing, internet marketing, network marketing, all sorts of stuff, marketing agency, whatever I could think of. And I never made more than about $800 a month. And it was a very tough time. Singapore is a very expensive country. It's kind of like Japan, maybe even in the States, right? So $800 a month was enough to eat one meal a day. Hard time. There's a lot of starving. There's a really lot of starving, and it was not fun. It wasn't until I met my mentor. If you've heard of Tony Robbins before and Robert Kiyosaki before, they all have a mentor, and his name is Marshall Thurber. Marshall Thurber is the creator of a program called Money and You. That was when Tony attended, Kiyosaki attended, Half Ecker, Blair Singer, some of these people attended, and Marshall mentored all of them. So I didn't even know Marshall was live. I went to Melbourne. I asked him to be my mentor. I didn't have the money, but I found the money. He mentored me for 1 year, and during that 1 year, I took my income from 800 to 10,000 per month. So I mean,
wow,
transformational. I wasn't thinking so much about the money. I was thinking that I could finally eat more than one meal a day. That was fun.
I can have more
Yes,
than noodles.
yeah, it was more than ramen noodles and that kind of stuff. So, and I never looked back. I'm going to grow the business. I even brought Marshall to Asia. Marshall hadn't been to Asia for 30 plus years since Edward Deming and Japan. That was in probably 1970s or 1980s. I brought my mentor to Asia. In those 3 years when I brought him to Asia, we made millions of dollars. I'm very good at promoting. I learned a lot of things on the streets. You tend to learn by heartaches and mistakes. So after we did that, then I went on to help a lot of other people grow their businesses. I realized there was a system, and I'll talk about it in just a bit. I realized there was a system to stand out, a system to sell. I never learned all this. People tell me they don't learn it in college either. And the funny thing is, if you ask me if I would change anything, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change anything because all that I know and do today is a result of those years of struggle.
You
Funny
needed
enough.
hungry.
Exactly. Exactly. People talk about hunger. Mine was a different kind of hunger. If you get what I mean, it wasn't like hunger for success or like I'm hungry, man. So everything I teach and share with people today is not theory. This industry is kind of funny. When I coach marketers, when I coach a lot of people, this industry is kind of funny. People buy an e-course, they study it a bit, they recycle the information. I don't recycle any information because all the stuff I teach is live from the streets. I have done hundreds and hundreds of presentations. This entire COVID period, in the last 5 to 6 months, I've done hundreds of webinars. That means I get on and sell virtually every single day. And that's when I'm not coaching people to do the same. So the lessons I share are real life, are practical. In the last 6 months, I've made more than $5 million in terms of sales on webinars. And that's real. And my clients have made just as much. And that's the space that we come from to share some of the stuff that I love to share with your listeners.
Absolutely. Wow, that's so much. So many questions. My first question, you said you didn't have the money, but you found the money to get your mentor. 2 questions on that. How did you find the money? Where did it come from? And from couch to mentor, how did you know that it was so important to get that money to get you from A to B or A to X, it feels like?
Okay, that's a fantastic question. So number one, how do you find the money? Very simple. When you're sick and tired of struggle. So I had to borrow money. I had to borrow from my parents. I had to borrow from my girlfriend at that point of time. It is not pleasant to borrow money from your mom or your girlfriend. It's 2 people you probably should not borrow money from. But at that point of time, Steph, I spent 7 years struggling. I always share with people why they should get a coach. The only reason to get a coach is because there are only 2 ways to learn, Steph. One is called mistake, another is called mentor. Mistake means I decide. For example, let's take driving a car. You can learn by mistake or mentor. Mentor means get a driving instructor, or you say, oh man, I need to pay. Okay, you can learn by mistake. It's called crashing. Now, crashing is expensive. You might lose the car, lose your life, lose a limb. And here's the thing. The thing about mistake is a lot of people say there's a short way and a long way. That's not true. When you learn by mistake, there's no promise you even learn anything. Steph, I spent 7 years. I don't think I learned much. I learned what not to do, but I didn't even find a way. When you are lost and confused, you lost and confused. Just because you're lost and confused doesn't mean eventually you get it. You still stay lost and confused. But unfortunately, some people choose to do that. They choose to, could be because of ego, could be because of culture, could be a variety of reasons, could be because they're too prideful to say, hey, you know what, I have no idea what to do. Can somebody teach me? But they choose to learn by mistake. And here's the thing: 7 years later, you meet them, they're still the same person. But the day you choose to humble yourself and find a coach and say, hey, you know what? Regardless of age, right? Some of the young folks coming up, are great on social media. They're probably much younger than me, and so much younger than you. So, but all I say is, hey man, you seem to know what you're doing. Is it okay if you teach me how to do it? And the moment you have that level of humility, and you find the right person, your amount of progress can accelerate really, really quickly because they've made the same mistakes, and then teach you how to not do that. So and if we do that for swimming, right? None of us throw our kids in the pool and say, you know what, just gonna figure it out. Hopefully you survive. No, then we have a bunch of dead kids. That's exactly what happened because they wouldn't learn. If we get an instructor for swimming, an instructor for driving, an instructor for karate, what's the leap for business when we're supposed to feed our families? Maybe the way we make a difference to the world. So well, I didn't learn it until 7 years later because I was kind of cocky at the start. So I was like, I'm gonna figure this shit out myself.
Yeah.
I did it. So now in every area of my life, even for fitness, I say, you know what, heck it. I'm just gonna get somebody much better. I'll shut up, I'll listen, and they'll coach me. So that's my philosophy now.
Yeah, and I think the important thing on that is the humble side of it. So just because you invest in a coach doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get to that, $10 million mark, or, whatever your goal is. You have to be willing to listen and to change and to try new things and to get out of your comfort zone. Uh,
100%.
yeah. So, and I talk to a lot of coaches here on this podcast, and in general. I never had a mentor or a podcast or a coach until I started my business, and I thought, well, I don't have a partner. I just need someone to talk to and, bounce ideas off of. And I didn't realize how transformative it is through every aspect of my life to be able to say, get this out of my head and you tell me what, where I am, what am I missing, and what are the next steps. And I also realized that, like you're saying, you can have a coach for fitness or for health. Well, the same thing with business. You can have a coach for sales. You can have a coach for all of your different levels of business. It's not just a business coach. You can also have a coach that is more of a, like, get out of your head mental game coach, which is my coach, because I'm always talking myself into circles. But yeah, when COVID hit, I was like, okay, well, I need more than just this mental coach. I need someone who's going to help me look at sales strategies and, like, help me see what the gaps are and what I'm missing from a strategic side. And you're kind of always looking at all those different angles. So let's go back a little bit. When you were living on your parents' couch, trying all these businesses, was there anything that you were just doing for passion? When you went to get a mentor, they have to agree to mentor you. So what did they see in you besides the pocket full of cash to give to them? And what is it that you told them you needed?
I think let's unpack, right? So what exactly were some of the issues that I had back then, and what exactly did I say to Marshall and many other folks in order to get them to mentor me? So let's take a look at some of the mistakes now that I look back, right? The first thing is I teach folks a method known as the X Factor method. The X Factor method implies that right now in every single industry there are tons of people doing the same thing. And unless we can articulate a message and offer a proposition, a positioning that is way different, unique than anything else, people are just going to gloss us over and they're not going to pay us attention. Or even if they pay us attention, they're going to judge us based on our appearance or based on our price. That is just reality of it. It's pretty simple. If there were 5 shops here selling fish and chips and we couldn't tell the difference, we just find the one that's cheapest, or maybe the one with the cute guy or the cute girl. That's kind of it. That's called physical appearance and another called price. That's it. But if one stood out and one connected with us, then we would go automatically over there. At that point of time, I didn't learn any of this. I just thought, just because I put something out, people are just going to find me. And unfortunately, they didn't. I didn't understand market research, standing out, copywriting, sales, even how to sell either a webinar over the phone, etc. So these are crucial skills that we can speak about later. And I think just a lot of ideas and actual proven stuff that work there. So and teams and all that stuff. Right? So I basically made every mistake in the book. The only thing I had was grit and determination. And sometimes that's enough to get you going. Probably was enough to make me just a little bit of money to survive until I met Marshall. So what exactly did I say to Marshall? Well, it was what he gathered from me. When you are at break, you have a certain look in your eye that implies you're not going to leave here with a no. So I was like, no, we're going to figure this shit out. Okay. Yeah. I flew all the way to Melbourne. So I'm here in Singapore, right? So I flew on my last dive in Melbourne, paid for this class, and I'm like, I'm not leaving this place without a yes. Okay. So how are we going to make this work? It wasn't like, is it okay? No. How are we going to make this work? What does it take? So I think that was one thing that impressed Marshall. If you heard of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, Marshall was the one that took Ben Cohen of Ben & Jerry's ice cream from his kitchen in Vermont all the way to $1 billion, right? To a billionaire. And I think Marshall recognizes hungry people. That was what I think he saw in me. He hadn't been in Asia for a long time. Probably was the first Asian he had seen in a long time. But he was like, man, there's something interesting about this guy. He wouldn't take no for an answer, and that was that. So I think he was impressed with the hunger, the participation, and I was there to play throughout. I think sometimes we'll hold back. Folks at the class, some of them were looking for direction, looking for clarity. I was looking for answers. And I was like, I'm going to get my answers because I repaid my last time here. I'm not leaving this place with confusion. I am going to get everything I want. Because I was like, I'm not going to go back there and take another 1 year or this kind of 1 meal a day kind of shit. So that was the space I came from. So I think that was a thing that was impressive to him. I think a lot of folks think that successful people do not want to share, and the successful people hold secrets back. I find that to be highly untrue. Having coached some clients who are 7 or 8 figures and work with some people who are listed companies, CEOs and stuff, I find that successful people are very generous, but they're very generous only if they feel you're very serious, because they do not want to waste their time. You know, I think they want to share, but if they don't get the sense that you are a player, if they don't get a sense that you are dedicated and driven, they don't want to do it. If they get a sense you're a dabbler, it's like, yeah, it's not worth my time. There are too many things to do. But if they get a chance that you're dead serious, you're 10 out of 10, then you will find them very generous and they want to help you. So success like success, you know, and you know there's a saying, game recognizes game. so when they get a sense that you're serious, they're like, I like this guy. Let's figure out something out.
So what was your business or your business model when you went to him?
Let's talk about why my business model failed, or why was making me $800, right? So the one thing that I learned from Marshall. So one of the greatest things on how we create a high ticket offer. Let's talk a little bit about that, right? Why are some people making so much money, and why are some people making so little money? Apart from standing up, because we were actually writing a book earlier today. It's going to be released on Amazon soon, so I'm kind of fresh from answering some of these questions. So the first key we need to understand is we need to stand up. Now, the one thing we need to understand is you can't stand up to everybody. You can only stand up to a specific audience. We can talk about how to stand up just a bit. After we stand up, you know, and people are interested, they raise their hand and say, please contact me. Now's the time for an offer. And I got 5 elements of a great offer. You know, it's the difference between making $500 and $50,000. The funny thing is you could be doing exactly the same thing. And making 500 versus 50 grand is the same thing, and it's the most shocking thing ever. But one of the elements inside is this of what makes a good offer versus a terrible offer is the difference between item and product versus transformation. It's like a gym trainer, for example. Then I'll show you because I was the gym trainer, the broke one and the rich one. So let's say a gym trainer, for example. A broke gym trainer is the one that sells sessions. He comes in here and sells you 20 sessions, 1 hour each, $60 a session. Now, what is the challenge here? Now, he might make a little bit of money. He makes $1,200. But what is the challenge? The challenge number one is that his time is limited. Let's suppose he works 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's 84 sessions that you can do, and that you will make $60. And in a month, you probably take that times 4 because there are 4 weeks. That is the maximum amount of money. His income has a ceiling. That's not good. That's not good at all. Because immediately he knows how much his max is going to make. That's horrible. Because that he's selling items. So here's the thing, Steph. He's working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Probably has no life. His wife will probably want to leave him. His kids will not recognize him, and he will probably be put down very soon. And he's stuck. Also. That's a poor offer. That was what I was doing back then, selling things item by item by item. And here's the thing: is he valued a lot, Steph? Probably not, because he's selling a session. Now, let's understand, Steph. People don't go to the gym because they want to work out with a trainer in a session. They go to the gym because they desire a better body. These two things are very different. A session versus a better body are two different things. This is an item. This is a result and a transformation. People will always pay more for a transformation more than just an item. That's the key. Remember, people don't want a drill, they want a hole. People don't want a bed, they want a good night's sleep. In fact, if you can get a little bit raunchy, people don't really want to even have sex. They want an orgasm. That's a different thing. One's a process, another is a result. You see, so what people want is the result. So here's the thing: if you can design an offer that gets people the result versus just selling a bunch of shit, which is because a PDF, a video, some sessions. If we get them the result and we design something around the result, they're going to pay more. So if I say to you, Steph, if we work together as a gym trainer, in 3 months' time, we get the best body you've ever had. Right? I'm going to include mindset, nutrition, all of these different things. I promise you the best body you ever had. That might be worth 7 or 8 grand, 5 or 6 grand. If I just say, hey, Steph, actually, I don't give a shit about your better body. But, you want to buy sessions? Okay, I want 20 sessions. Do you see? So one is very low level. One is very high level. And here's the funny thing. The high level offer might have lesser sessions. It might have lesser sessions. You know, so that's the thing. The final thing I want to mention about this, you know, or one of the additional things I want to mention, is when you sell sessions and when you sell items, you have a disincentive to provide them with a result. Think about it, Steph. if I could get you if I can get you a transformation in 5 sessions, but they're over $60 per session, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to waste. I'm going to drag it out. Why? I'm paid by the session. You see? So
Yeah.
So it's a waste of your time and my time. You know, we are both hurting. I'm stretching it out. So what was I doing? I was selling items. What did I change? I changed the transformation. Instantly, by doing the same thing, I made about 5 to 10 times more money.
That's a really great lesson. You know, we talk about in marketing just the simplicity of feature versus benefit. What is the end result that you're trying to get people? So even if you have a product or a session, or that's the way you package it, what is the benefit that you provide? And if you can sell that benefit, then you're not selling the product, you're selling the end result.
Absolutely critical. Yeah. So I've seen so many clients. That's the answer. One of the components is designing a high ticket offer. You know, so if you see, Steph, there's a website called Fiverr. If you just wanted items, there are people in the world willing to do it for $5. If you wanted to be rich, how many $5 jobs do you have to do, man? You will die before you get rich. You see, that's what happens when you go product and service. That's very low level. But if you do transformation, then Steph is going to be unique. You're going to be special, and they're going to come to you because Steph delivers a transformation. So that's a huge thing. You know, $5. Someone's going to write your email for $5, man, Steph. You know, but then the top copywriter delivers a transformation. That's $5,000.
Right.
Huge thing. But you just get email. See, now difference.
Absolutely, I make a difference. So tell us about your process that you keep talking about.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that so here's a funny story. When we first brought Marshall to Asia, here's a mentor to Tony Robbins. We brought him here, and it was a very competitive industry, business workshops, etc. Now at that point in time, I didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a brand, didn't have a list, and here's a man who had never been to Asia for 30 plus years. So and a highly competitive industry, man, that was not a good combination, right? So what we had to do is I realized something very very early on. I used to be the chief copywriter at Success Resources. They bring in folks all around the world and do big seminars. I used to stand at the back of a hall and watch as speakers went on stage and did their best to sell. And I realized that some people can hypnotize a crowd, do amazing. They walk on stage, they walk off stage. There's a man called T. Harv Eker. The man is by far one of the best closers you've ever seen in your life. He goes on stage, he goes off stage, he made $1.6, $1.8 billion. How do I know? I was running the sales. I was the one. People threw credit cards at me. I never had so many people so angry because I wasn't processing their cards fast enough. I was like, man, hey, relax, man. You go charge your card for 10 grand. Just relax, man. Join the other 180 people in line, you know.
Wow.
And then some people, 1.8 million in 90 minutes. Then I have some people who go on stage and do their best to sell. They can't even make $2,000 in 90 minutes. So at the start, I stood at the back, right? Back then, I kept thinking to myself, why are some people so successful and others not? I think maybe it's something to do with race, gender, height, age, and all this kind of superficial stuff. No, I realized that the ones that were very, very wealthy, the ones that could stand out, they had something special about them. They had an X factor. There's something unique about them. I realized in every single industry, the people with an X factor are the ones that they get the most money. You know, have you heard of a guy called Adam Levine?
Mm-hmm.
Right? When his music comes on, you recognize it straight away because his voice is distinct. That's the key. Have you heard of a guy called The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock? You see, right? He's Hollywood's highest paid actor. He's paid $70 million last year, 2019. Now, some people wonder, okay, there are a lot of action stars, but why he paid so much money? Is it his muscles? Is it wrestling? But there's so many wrestlers and they're broke. So many people buff people, they're broke. The Rock is something special, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Tony Robbins, he teaches NLP. There's so many broke NLP coaches. Why, right? I mean, they may probably even teach better NLP than Tony. Why does Tony make so much money? You see, The Rock, Tony, and Adam Levine all have something special. Our brains are wired to notice things that stand out, where attention goes and energy flows, and in this case, cash follows. You know, and if we blend in and are not unique, we are glossed over. They don't care about us. Adam Levine, what makes him special? His voice. He has a falsetto that the moment you hear it, you're like, I know who this guy is. Mm-hmm. He catches your attention. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he stands out because of his core values and origin story. He stands for grit, determination. That kind of thing connects with people. Right? You might be a gal and not wrestle or have half his muscles, but you can connect with them. You know, and Tony, what makes him special? Number one, he has the firewall. his entire concert, I want to say concert, but really it's a seminar. It's like a concert, a rock concert. You've never seen anything like this before, 15,000 people jumping all at once. And then every once in a while, he pulls celebrities out. You go there, you can have Wolverine walk out. Now you get Conor McGregor, the UFC guy, walk out. You can have Pitbull, Lord knows who he brings out. And this whole thing is like a spectacle. And that's far more exciting than a stiffy NLP course for 5 days and you want to fall asleep. It's really special. Right? All of these things are special. So I discovered, oh my God, if we found out what made us special, we can make the money these people are making. But most of the time, we don't think we're special and we don't know how to find out what makes us special. I realized there's a process. And I want to walk everyone very quickly through the process. The first key is not to discover that you're special. Number one, what makes you stand out? Number one, it's nothing superficial. It's always to do with, firstly, core values. What do you believe in? Because that core values is going to resonate with other people that believe the same thing. So I love your podcast because I saw the core values you had there, authentic leadership and a bunch of other things, mission-based. That's the thing that I resonated with. See, I didn't know you, but I read it and I was like, man, I like this girl. You see, those are core values. See, here's the thing we need to understand, Steph. Core values always polarize. The reason polarize, a lot of people, you have election time in the States now, and people think polarize means being obnoxious and just going out there and saying something controversial. That's not true. The moment you take a stand, you are polarizing. The moment you say, for example, I believe in, let's say, this particular stand. Immediately, some people are going to agree and some people are going to disagree. You see it? And immediately you're polarizing. Now, here's the thing. We need to understand whatever stand we take, the moment you sell a product, you are polarizing. And you need to accept that. Some people like it, some people hate it. And so we realize that our core values are going to appeal to our audience, our natural target audience. That's the first key. Number two, right after, so the first key is core values. Second key is vision. What is the vision you have for your clients? You see, people hire you because you're supposed to have a vision to make their lives better. Hopefully not worse. There's no need to hire you. But better differs from person to person. For me, I wish for my clients to be the absolute best in their industry, to make authentic money, ethical money, that they deserve huge amounts of money. Now you must understand, Steph, some people don't believe in that. I want my clients to deliver great value for people. Some clients don't believe in that. Some clients just want to make fast money and give a shit who they serve. So guess what? I'm not their guy. They go, nah, this is authentic stuff, touchy-feely, it's not for me. Great! Leave! See, but some people go upon that and go, my God, I like this guy's values. I like his vision. So I'm starting to stand out. Now, most people don't share their values and vision because they go, that's not business-like. We don't talk about this kind of thing. Well, that's why I ignore. And some people are afraid to share their values and vision because they are like, oh no, what if people don't like me? Well, that's good. That's polarizing, right? So values, vision. Then the next one is to zero in on a natural prospect. You see, there is a challenge when you work with people and they tell you stuff like, oh, I work with entrepreneurs who are 30 to 60. That is like a machine gun. That fires everybody. Then basically I can predict your ad cost, I can predict your webinar show up, I can predict your opt-in rate, I can predict your business. That is horrible. I don't do that. I discovered, I've an entire process, it takes a while. But people discover their natural audience. My audience is very simple. My audience are elite people, elite speakers, marketers, and salespeople. That's it. 3 people. If you find anything you don't wish to make a lot of money and be the best, I'm not your guy. You're not in any of these 3 occupations, I'm not your guy. Only if you want to be the very best, you're currently doing exceptionally well, or you wish to be the very best, I'm your guy. That's it. It's very clear. You see, it's very clear. In fact, I start my webinar by telling people, well, my name is Melvin. I work with these 3 groups of people. I work with the best. If you aspire to be the best, we're going to get along. If you don't, please leave the webinar. I say that in 3 minutes of starting. Most people welcome people. I don't. I tell them, you either like me or you leave. That leads to very high webinar conversion rates, by the way, because I'm very clear about the prospect. Then I'm very clear about solving a specific problem and pain. You see, a lot of us, we say we're coaches, and we want to coach people on every single problem. That's a Swiss Army knife. Nobody pays a lot of money for Swiss Army knife. So I solve a specific problem. I help people find high-paying clients, and I help them to get these high-paying clients to pay them. That's it. Okay, I do not believe in having more clients. I believe in having better clients. There's a huge difference. For example, dating. You don't want to have a lot of dates. You want to have really good dates. Friends. You don't want to have a lot of friends, especially a lot of rubbish friends. You want to have really good friends. You see, why not this? Right? So we want to have better clients. And I only want to do that. Right? I solve a pain. Then after that, I have a specific promise that I can help them with. And my proof is overwhelming. When you go through my proof, you're like, my God, this guy is legit. And then I share with them a purpose. Why am I doing this beyond money? Steph, I have a lot of money, but I love doing this. It's 1 in the morning. I don't have money not to do this right now, but I choose to do it because everything in my life falls around mission. Mission to help the very best people, share their information with more people so we can change the world. The money is what I deserve. The money is what I make. The money stays there. My needs are simple. But at the end of the day, the money is important, but the mission is more important. So when I cover all of these things, and then people listen, you go, man, I never met anyone like you. But see, there's a process. True, I might be charismatic, whatever, but there is a process. And after they go through it, they're like, I'm signing up with you. I have no idea what you're selling, but I like you. Then they go, right? So that's the process. I just walk you through the whole process. And here's the thing, and anyone can do it. When you slot yourself through that, you stand out in a way that is wrong. Here's the thing, not everybody will find you attractive. And isn't that true? You got a dating app, everyone's gonna like you. No. Even Adam Levine's gonna find very ugly. And it's fine. There's not this market. It's okay. They're not gonna like it. So there's that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think it's interesting. I've always wondered, and I think that the tide is changing to some extent. I've always wondered why businesses are so afraid to have their values on their sleeve, as opposed to stand up and with their values. You don't have to be like mean about it. You don't have to be isolating against. Just say like, this is what I'm standing for. And I mentioned this once before in the podcast, but I found it really compelling when I heard an agency owner say once, your message needs to repel as much as it attracts so that you can make sure it's so much easier to sell. If your message is repelling, then you don't have to bridge that gap, or you don't have to service clients who are a pain in the ass because, or like figure out how to break up with them later. They break up with you, they self-select. And then you're just dealing with the cream of the crop of what you want to deal with, people you already align with. And it sets you on such a better path for success.
Amen to that. I always talk about the most important thing in sales. We have a lot of folks who teach sales on YouTube, right? And oftentimes the one thing they all have in common, mostly men. They're mostly men who are type A personalities. So it's pretty easy. You just type sales in YouTube and just find out who the first people on the first page are. Mostly aggressive guys. And I'm not saying their methods don't work. I'm just saying most of them are not a wolf. I'm just saying most of them are not a wolf. Most of them are not just a bulldog. Most people I've met, especially ladies, not all of them are just going to go up there and say, you want to buy or don't want to buy? If you don't want to buy, get off. This doesn't work for everybody. It's aggressiveness. So I find that the most important element in sales is qualification. And everything you just said just now, qualification. Qualification means letting people know, hey, here's the kind of people I work with. Here's the people I don't work with. Which do you fit in? Here's the thing. Steph, I'm going to share something very profound with you. You don't qualify people. They qualify themselves. You merely share the qualities with them. I work with this and I don't work with this. Then you hear it and you go, oh, I'm suitable, I'm not suitable. Here's the thing. Qualification is hand in hand with disqualification, which is just what your guest mentioned. Attraction is polar to repulsion. And if we have a list of qualification criteria, we have a list of disqualification criteria. And that's the thing that most people are lacking. I have a list of things I want in a client, and a list of things I do not want in a client. See, Steph, a long time ago, I was a copywriter to a dating coach, and it's kind of similar. There are the qualities you look for in a man, and the qualities you don't look for in a man. If he has any of those things on the second list, we are not going out. This is not going to work out. Why not do it for a client? It's kind of simple. So therefore, qualification, disqualification, it becomes really clear what kind of people we want. If we take the wrong person, and we see that often in young folks who are doing it because they want to make the fast money. They just sell everybody. I used to work behind the scenes at a seminar company. And just because you see a lot of people sign up doesn't mean it's all honky-donkey. I can tell you that the next day, if you sell the wrong people, the phone is flooded with refund requests. That you didn't see that, right?
And manipulative selling does the same thing.
Yes, there's no use selling 100 people. If 40 of them are going to call tomorrow and complain and yell over the phone, then why not just get 60 solid people, right? Credit card charges are real expensive when you do refunds.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's the same thing with client retention over the long term. There's the manipulative selling over where you know, sign up. I've done that before. You know, I've signed up for an MLM that sounds like, oh, it's going to be a millionaire overnight because these people are in a mansion and they were just living out of whatever the day before. And then sign up $500. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I don't want to sell this crap to my parents and my sister and, you know, like
Yeah.
all these people. So you're immediately asking for your money back. So that's manipulative selling. But the other that I think so many businesses and salespeople don't, if you don't have to service the client and you get your commission immediately, then you don't have to deal with the pain in the long run of having to sell over and over and over and over again because you are not selling to the right person. They leave. There's all this, you know, lack of retention. And then your reputation is that you didn't meet their expectations. You know, so if you you know, put your values on your sleeve and you sell to the right people in a, like you said, self-selection on both sides kind of way, then that reputation of yes, we aligned, yes, we got along, yes, they gave me the results that I expected. Now they're going to tell people about it.
Yeah, that is absolutely David accurate. The way of selling where you just hit everyone over the head with a hammer works if you treat them as a customer. There's a difference between a client and a customer. A customer is a one-night stand. You're not going to see them again. So it's fine. You know, I get it. I would do it, but I get why. You know, if I never see you again, then okay, fine. You know, maybe I might do things I might, it's okay. You know, it's not okay for me, but I kind of get it. A client you're going to see tomorrow. And ideally, here's a trick question, of course. When does a client cancel? The answer is you do your job well, never. It's like, when does a marriage end? Well, ideally, if you do your job well, never. You see? So you're going to see this person over and over again. You treat them ethically, find the right person, yada, yada, yada. So the thinking of short term, just take everybody's money, is a customer thinking. It is a thinking that leads to the crash business. A client thinking, where it might be a little bit slower at the start because you do it proper, leads to an exponential growth. And that's something that I've been. And here's the thing, the final thing is that, right, about why people choose a short term is impatience. Because they're too eager to get the money. Or why do you need so much money so fast? Because they're bought into the idea that they want to have the money to do all the fancy, fancy stuff. You see? So they want to grab it real quick. I want to have the booze, I want to have the gals, I want to have the guy, I want to have the plane, I want to have the car, all these things. I'll do whatever it takes. In this case, whatever it takes is unethical. It leads to problems, it leads to a bad rep, and then no more business. Now you're only like 28, you're 30, the whole internet knows that you're a scammer. It's not good. Then you know, then now it's not good. It's not good.
So what, in your ongoing conversations, you have this process and you get them started, you get this mindset and their values. What is it that helps your clients to stay on track and keep going and keep that success, or you as well? Are there resources, processes, mindsets? What do you talk about beyond the first set of conversations?
Awesome. So how exactly do you coach people? That is a fantastic question. The way to coach people is, first and foremost, is to understand what makes a person transform. A long time ago, I used to work at you know, as part of many things I've done. I used to work at one of these summer camp companies. Actually, it's quite famous in the States. It's called Super Camp. It's an accelerated learning company. And basically, for 7 days, you go there. Tony Robbins was one of the trainers back in the day. So you go in there and you transform people. So what makes a person transform? And here's what most coaches are doing wrong. The number one thing that most coaches are doing wrong is they believe a skill set is the only thing a person needs in order to change. That is not true. You see, skill set is one of the things that you need in order to change, but it's not the only thing. How oftentimes do we know what to do, but we don't do it? Probably a lot of the time. You know, we know we should not drink so much booze. We know we should wake up earlier and exercise. We know, you know, but we don't do it. Why? You know, how? Steph, we live in an information age, and yet people are fat, unhappy, and broke. It's like long time ago you could say I don't know, but now it's like you have Google,
No,
find the information, so you know why you're not doing it. So you realize that skills is one of the components. Critical when you coach people is to build on the mental and the emotional. So I'm going to emphasize what that means and give the listeners a lot of practical tips. First of all, I need to teach you a skill. Number two, I need you to believe that you can use the skill. If I teach you a skill and your brain goes, I don't think this works for me, you're never going to use it. It's going to be stored at the back of your mind. So I need to simultaneously work on the skill and the fact that I show you how to use it, because it's called implementation. I need you to believe that you can use it. I need to sell you on the fact that it works for you, right? Because the day you believe it works for you, you're actually going to do it. If you only hear about skill set, your brain goes, well, it might work for someone else, it might work for Melvin, it might work for his clients, but it doesn't work for me, right? And then you will use it. It's great notes. It's shelf development, not self-development, shelf development. Remember, people buy seminar manuals and put it on the shelf, right? So that's not good. You need the information. You need to know how to apply it, because sometimes it's theoretical, but the step by step is critical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you need the person to have the urgency, the desire, the belief that this will work for them. Then the last thing you need is accountability. You say you want to do it, right? Show me you're going to do it. When you have all these components, 4 components, real change happens. So I repeat, a skill set. It can't make sense. Then how do I do it? Because the day we break down the skill, the problem with most e-courses is they teach you skills. It sounds good, but then how do you do it, right? I know I should do this survey funnel. How? Where do I click? How do I make it happen? How do I set it up? If you lack that, you won't do it. Without the how, you won't do it. Then after the how, then you need to actually believe as you're doing it. You need to have that belief that, man, this will work for me. Because if you don't have that belief, you won't do it. You're like, not sure. Now think about it, and then you won't do it. Then the final thing is accountability. Why? The slack off, Steph. They say they're going to do shit, but they don't do shit. Because at the start, the mind is wired not to change.
Right.
So at the start, the mind doesn't want to do uncomfortable stuff. It affects the self-image, you suck at it, not sure whether it will work, it's too much stuff. So the mind doesn't want to do it. The only reason you do it is because somebody holds you accountable. Someone says like, hey, you say you're going to do it, right? Where is it? And you're like, I just do it to appease this person. But after a while, the more you do it, the more you get the results, the more it's integral to a part of you. Then now you do it on your own. And these are the elements I have within the coaching program, which is what makes folks succeed. Not so much the skill set. I think that most coaches believe that it's only skills. They're missing the equation. The skill and the knowledge itself is a 5 to 10% of it. The execution of it and the sustained execution of it is the 90%.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day who was saying that that successful businesses over the long term realize that they think that innovation is the name of the game, but really innovation is 10 to 20%, and it's the consistent perfection or focus on doing it right and consistently that is what is going to really keep you successful over the long term. And yet it's hard to keep yourself motivated and hold yourself accountable over 5, 10, 15, 20 years of doing the same or similar thing. And you think like, as the leader, I need to innovate. Well, as a leader, you need to make sure that you're doing it well, better, and you can innovate a little bit over time, but it's really the focus on making sure that you're getting it done, you're holding yourself accountable, and that you're looking at how to perfect it over time.
Yeah, execution is not easy, and that's where the game is lost. The game is not lost in ideas. The game is lost in execution. We have a lot of ideas. How many times do we meet a person with a bright idea? Very often. How many times do we meet a person who actually does something with a bright idea? Very rarely. So the game is won and lost in execution, not in ideas.
Yeah, and also being I like these. So being brave enough to jump out and do it and find the skills, figure out the skills, or figure out the mentor that needs to hold you accountable. But I like that you also said that you have to believe in yourself, that it has to start there. If you don't believe you can do it, like you believe it can be done, but do you believe you can do it?
Then you see right there, you caught it. 2 very different things. You believe it can be done by somebody else. Very different than I believe I can do it. Which is why at the end of the day, the more I coach people, the more I start going back. Steph, really interesting. The more I start going back to working on things that have nothing to do with business, which you ever believe, productivity. And here's the thing, even deeper, self-love. You see, Steph, the number of people I've had over the last couple of months, 2 or 3 months, right? Because my clients are making a lot of money. But here's the thing, Steph, I'll share something interesting. The number of people I've had who call me and say, hey, Mel, I'm making way more money than I ever had before. What do I do with this money? I used to think, hey, isn't that a fantasy? You make your 6 figures, 7 figures, just go out there and do what the heck you want to do. I'm like, I have no idea what to do with this. How do I prevent myself from self-sabotaging? how how do I reconcile with the fact that I have an extra couple zeros or 1 0 behind my bank account? I have no idea how to deal with this. That's that. You know what I realized? Self-image is the name of the game. You see, beneath all these funnels, advertising, ads, copywriting, right? Beneath that, beneath even the business strategy, we're dealing with a human. And a human, if they have a lot of issues, money's gonna disappear.
Mm.
You see, Steph, I was sharing with my clients today. It's everything to do with self-image. And what is self-image? The way you feel about yourself. Yeah. Do you love yourself? That's critical. You see, it's kind of weird, right? This is supposed to be marketing and business coaching. Why are we talking about self-love? If you don't love yourself, you're gonna blow the money. You see, why do people blow money? Because they don't feel good. If they don't feel good, they do shopping therapy. Why do you need therapy? Because I don't feel good. why do you go out there? Guys sometimes you go on a drinking thing, you go to the club, you blow home. Why do they do that? Because they don't feel good. Why do they don't feel good? Because there's something fundamentally wrong inside. Therefore, the money comes and sabotages. They self-sabotage. So self-love is critical. If people have issues with themselves, with their childhood, with self-esteem, with their parents, they need to fix it. I'm not always the guy with that, but I can see it because I had to struggle with those things myself. And that holds people back. The deep psychological issues we don't want to confront holds people back. You make the money, then you find a way to blow the money because you don't feel you deserve the money. But the day we fix it and we are like, I'm worthy of self-love. I'm enough. I have abundance in my life. I love who I am. I deserve it. I add value to people's lives. When you feel good about yourself, you charge higher and you keep the money, right? It's a huge thing. That a lot of people teach high ticket closing, but no one teaches high value being. Very different. You see, the outer never escapes the inner. We have too many people, Steph, teaching how to sell 20, 30, 40, 100K. We have nobody teaching how to be a 100K person. Mm-hmm. You see, it doesn't work this way. You can learn how to charge a lot of money, but if you are not that person, it gets exposed real quick. Real quick. You want to charge 100 grand, then the person pays and you realize, hey man, this guy's a little fishy, a little dodgy, man, he's got issues. They ask for their money back. The outer never escapes the inner. So simultaneously, see, everyone wants to learn high ticket closing, but no one wants to learn high value being. It's side by side. You want to charge $1 million? You better be that $1 million person. You want to charge 100 grand a year? You better be the 100 grand person. So I've ceaselessly worked on myself. Because I know why I made $800 at the time. I was an $800 person.
What do you do to work on yourself ceaselessly?
A lot of things, right? I here in Asia, we have a very unique way of parenting. Might be a little different than the States. Here in Asia, States, parents are like, oh man, I'm so proud of you. Here, parents don't say that. It's a different way of parenting. There's a positive affirmation and negative affirmation. I could motivate Steph by saying, oh, Steph, you're great. Let's see you do better. Or I could say, Steph, you suck. That is horrible. Get your shit together. Here in Asia, we do the second. We do the second. We tell the kid from a young age that they suck in the hope that they will not get arrogant and they will go and do a better job. Now the challenge is the kid does do a better job, but grows up rather damaged because they're told that from a young age. So we have a lot of people walking around wounded because of the parenting stuff. Right? So that was something I had to fix. I had issues with my parents because I didn't like the way they treated me. I was a little rebellious, so that caused a lot of problems. I had issues with rebelliousness, with money, with value, with self-esteem, with the way I felt, with society. It was angry. See, all of these things seem like they have nothing to do with business. Anger and wealth don't go together, man. Hating your mom and your dad don't equals wealth, man. You find a way to, not loving yourself equals doing dumb shit with money, man. So all these things.
Right? The self-sabotage just gets worse. It just is amplified the more money you have.
Yes, right, and that's why you see in Hollywood, people make a lot of money and then kill themselves and they don't like themselves. So those are all the issues I had to fix. I worked with coaches. I did a lot of work. I was open to it. I was open to confront, change the story I had, and all of these different things. And of course the humility comes in. That was one of the things we spoke about at the start, where I was like, you know what, this is important. A lot of people want to cover it up because they don't want to dive into the deep, dark, uncomfortable places. There are things that happen in your childhood, and you're like, nah, just like the ethic, you just I don't want to go up there. Hey man, you might find some power there. You might find clear out the trash there. You might make the house stink less, fix some fundamental issues. The courage to confront some of these issues are critical. Every time you confront a deep fundamental issue, you make more money. That's just the reality of it. Because you clear some shit out. When you clear some shit out, there's more space for good stuff to enter. So I think it's a ceaseless thing that I embark on. I have a coach that will work on mindset-wise on a regular basis. So I know what happens when you don't get this right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's so many wonderful things that you said there. Yeah, and I think there's, in different societies, it's getting a lot more acceptable, but it was always thought of as a weakness to go get therapy. Now in our society, it's gotten a lot more acceptable, but a lot of people don't realize that there is an element of therapy in business coaching. Like you're saying, like you have to get your mind right, understand your worth, move through and past your self-doubt. I mean, just because Bill Gates has more money than anybody can dream of, or Jeff Bezos or whatever, doesn't mean they don't have self-doubt. It doesn't mean they don't have their own problems. It means they've figured out how to work through it or around it, and probably with the help of coaches. But everybody has their baggage. Everybody has their parent issues. Everybody has their relationship issues. But you bring that all into your business. You bring it all, like you said, there is no outer without the inner. There's no inner without the outer. And that includes everything you surround yourself with. And there's another quote, you are who you are. You are the culmination of the 5 people that you spend your most time with. And what I realized recently is that includes podcasts, that includes YouTube videos or TV shows or whatever it is, because it's those voices, those messages, those feelings that you are consuming on a regular basis. And then just like you are what you eat, you are the messages you consume. And then your body is built from those things. And you have the ability to rebuild and to start new, start fresh. Like just because you were obese doesn't mean you have to be that way forever. Just because you were damaged as a child doesn't mean you have to be that way forever. I mean, look at Tony Robbins as an example. He took years for him to come out and say that his mother was abusive. But then once he did, he realized that was the best thing he could do for his clients, for the people that he works with, because then they could say, oh, you are damaged too, but you are not broken forever.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think the day we can understand the interconnectivity of things, as opposed to the isolated separation of things, right? We sometimes in society we are taught to be rational. Say, hey, don't bring your personal life and your business together. How are you not going to do that, right? I mean, how are you going to separate these two things? You had a quarrel with your husband last night. You slept 1 hour. You got to bring that into your business. Trust me. You had the best time. You had a romantic time. Your kids love you. Your husband loves you. You got to bring that joy and the smile over to your business. How are you going to separate the two? So that philosophy, that thinking, that is like, hey, you know what? Better separate this two. It doesn't work. Nobody can do that. We aren't a machine. I guess that's what makes us different than computer. For computer, you can. You have a separate operating system on the computer. You're like, well, I can have a Windows and a Mac on the same operating system. But human doesn't. You can do that. You can try. You can suppress it, but you will leak out in often uncomfortable manners, breakdown, yelling at people. So you cannot. So having working on the inner is really, really critical. I think that's what is missing in this whole thing, in this whole game of marketing, coaching, etc. Here's one element I think would be very useful, Steph. A coach needs to be congruent, critical. If there's one element that makes a good coach, it's not the ability itself. I can teach that all day long. I have a whole system there. When I get on a webinar, just people buy. But here's the thing: the reason they're buying has less to do with the stuff that I say, the system, this NLP, hypnotic commands, or this kind of stuff. No, it's because they feel that this guy is solid. There's the congruence. The most important element in a sale, in a coaching, is congruence. Congruence is when the person gets a sense that this person is not full of shit. This person actually lives this thing. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to believe in what you do and you have to actually live what you do. It's very simple. We wouldn't go and hire a fat gym trainer, because if the guy's so good, he will be fit himself. It's kind of congruent. You have financial advisors who sell you plans. Ask them this next time, Steph. Did you buy it? Mm-hmm. Watch as they shut up. Oh, it's so good, huh? Did you buy it? Oh, so you didn't buy it, but you want me to buy it. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. You see. So the first key a coach needs to have is a coach. If a coach doesn't have a coach, he should not be selling coaching. Just simple as that. It's kind of crazy. It's simple. A coach should be spending time servicing the clients and also getting coaching and working on himself, because that's what he asks his clients to do. A coach should be just as serious about his own coaching as he's telling the clients to be. Because if he's slack, he will reflect. His clients will be slack too, and you'll wonder why. Because it's a mirror, you see. So every time my clients behave in some strange ways, I don't go, hey, what the hell is wrong with these people? I start thinking, why exhibit these behaviors? Maybe I do. You see, it's kind of interesting, right? I fix me, then mysteriously they fix that themselves. There's something to do with me. I think that ownership, that understanding, is what is going to transform this entire business. It's going to transform the business when people stop going, I want to fix these people. Then they start going, I think I need to fix myself. Maybe it'll help. Most of the time it does. So I think that's something that's very lacking, but very critical in this.
Yes, and understanding the humanity in all of business, that there is productivity, but the concept of an employee being an asset, or like you said, it's not a robot, it's not a computer. People are going home and having arguments, or having not slept all night because they have a new baby or whatever, and they're bringing that to their work and vice versa. And so when you see someone slacking at their job, you don't say, like, reboot. You can't do that. So to having the conversation to say, what is this, and what am I doing? How can I set you up for success, or what's happening in your life, and how can we kind of move this forward? There's also that that element of being a leader or having your business that I think needs to be have some attention as well. Having a sales meeting and standing at the front of the room and saying, have you all met your quotas? Tell me about it. Is not the best way to motivate your team or figure out how to close those gaps to close the sale.
Absolutely. I think so. There needs to be a lot of evolution in the way people run businesses. There are so many things that sounded good. The Gordon Gekko, Wolf of Wall Street back then. That kind of machismo. There was a time for that. Now it's not the time for that. Humiliating people, yelling, flipping the table. I'm the boss. Shut up. Listen to me. There might have been a time for that. That works very badly now. You just end up on the Huffington Post or the New York Times, or you end up on YouTube. Not a good idea. So that seems to be the way the world is evolving to. And if we want to be relevant as salespeople, entrepreneurs, and leaders, then that's something we need to evolve also. And it just feels better. It doesn't feel that good to go in and hold news every single day. It's not good for the heart.
Right. It's not good for anybody. So we're coming up on an hour just about. It's been an awesome conversation. Is there anything that you would say is like just critical advice that you would want to kind of pass on, or any last words or thoughts that you want to share with our listeners?
I think for all the folks that are listening, the most important thing is, as you grow in the area of sales, so one of the things I teach, of course, is X factor. It gets people to come in. If you do the marketing and you do stand out, do all the fancy stuff, you're going to make a lot of money. People are going to pay attention to you. That's one half of the equation. That's the outer part. The inner part is very important. Delivery is very important. Being a congruent person is very important. Adding real value is very important. Ensuring and caring about their success is very important. You cannot have one half without the other. We have an industry right now that's heavily focused on one of the halves. Getting people come in, getting their money. Very, very light on delivery, caring, congruence, transformation. Do they actually benefit? We churn people. We don't transform people. That's not good. That is going to lead to a breakdown. It is a person who goes to the gym and only works on his upper body, but never on his legs. He's going to fall at some point of time. That's not sustainable. So we understand that instinctively, but way too few people do that, which is to balance out both sides. So if I have any advice for anyone listening, please work on the marketing, work on the sales, work on the delivery. work on yourself, work on the congruence, work on caring for your clients. This way, then you have a sustainable, not just a profitable, a sustainable business. Maybe 2020, 2030, 40, you're still in business, still making money. And one day when all this comes to an end, it's a wonderful journey called life, and you leave knowing you made a lot of money, it's cool, but you made a lot of difference, you made a lot of impact. And I think that's more satisfying.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful place to end the conversation. Focus on that, make a difference. Yes, you make a lot of money. Yes, but are you enjoying it? And are you enjoying the people that are around you? Are you spreading love and joy with that? And what is the difference that you make in this world?
Yep. Thank you, Steph, for having me on, and hopefully, if anyone listens, you like it, always Google Melvin Soh on type Melvin Soh on Facebook. You can come and follow me. They have to add me. Love to connect with folks, and you can drop me a PM on what they enjoyed from this. I promise you, I will reply. I'm not the arrogant to reply to Facebook message. I appreciate you, Steph. Thanks for the opportunity to share some of these thoughts, and I hope this makes a difference to folks. Probably provide that missing link that some of them might not have gotten from some of the information out. Thank you so much for the chance.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all your time and insight. It was wonderful.